Hello Wine-Abbers, my name is Jesse Meekum from You Need a Budget. Yes, you do. And this is another Whiteboard Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about cats, categories, whatever you want to call them. We think they're fun and sometimes cute, and I want to talk about category structure. You start out without a default, and the default you can use if you want. It's easy. We stuck them in there. We're actually restructuring the defaults, and we'll be starting with something else fairly new, fairly soon. But beyond that, the defaults are something you can always use, and then if you so choose, you can opt for a little bit of freedom, and you can do mandatory or discretionary as an organizational structure. You can say, these categories here are mandatory, and I've got to fund those first. These categories here below are discretionary, and I'll fund those next, and you'll be totally set. So that's one option. You could go with paychecks. A lot of people, if they're living paycheck to paycheck, a lot of people will use that structure. You'll have a master category that's a paycheck. You'll have another master category that is your other paycheck. Maybe you have 3 paychecks, I don't know. It gets a little difficult when your paychecks fund the same category. So maybe a couple different paychecks fund rent and things like that. But if you have paychecks that are designated for certain bills, then organizing your categories in that way, a lot of Wine-Abbers have said, is extremely helpful. So that may be an option. There is a rule with categories. We do believe that all else equal, fewer is better. But there's a usually in between there. Fewer is usually better when it comes to cats or categories. And what you want to do is not have so many that becomes overwhelming, that you have a total scroll fest on your budget where trying to find something is a real hassle, or you're trying to wrangle your cats a little bit, and that can be difficult. So you want to make sure the categories make sense. You don't want to have so many that you can't hang on to them and keep track of them and have them not just kind of go crazy on you, sneak up behind you and surprise you in all those different ways, metaphorically speaking. Finally, there is a reason to have a category, really kind of a big reason. If you're finding that there's a category, or I should say, there's a large percentage of your expenses that is really just, it's tough to categorize them, right? You just can't get there. Then you would want to say, okay, there's a little bit of a black hole, which is what I worked on here. You've got this big black hole of spending, and you're saying, you know what, I need to break that out and get some more granularity. More information leads to more awareness. Too much information leads to you kind of throwing in the towel. So weigh that as you're analyzing your categories and just figure out, are these worth it? Are they providing information that is helpful in my decision making? And that's basically it. So categories, feel free to break away from the default. That's totally fine. And make sure you don't have so many that you can't handle them. You can keep track of them. You know where they are at all times and things like that. I'll see you guys next week.